Everybody, we are back. It's a brand new episode of Liam Picks Fights, and I am very excited to talk to you guys about these fights. In the brief time that we have left before the broadcast gets underway, very busy week for me, capping some Bellator, capping some UFC, and trying to do a little bit of get ahead work as well on these capping opportunities. So that being said, I didn't think there was that many opportunities. The more I dug into this card, the more I found a couple spots I wanted to target. So with that being said, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. I know my man Tim is in the building. Appreciate you big time. Big show as well. Says, let's go. Appreciate you. And guys, with that being said, I'm just going to get started. A couple of the plays I like here. Angelusa, I've kind of waffled on this one all week, but the more I think about the matchup, the more I revisit the tape, I think the guy's got some wrestling and grappling upside here. Munir lets a lot of guys in on his hips, and he did so regionally as well. It's possible he scores a knockout here, but I think there's some durability on the other side here. Angelusa took an absolute beating from Jack Della and kept coming forward. So I like Angelusa as this underdog price. Before it started to drop, I hit the plus 180s. I hit the plus 190s. So that was one of my favorite bets here. Also, FanDuel offering a sub or decision prop at plus 310. Market wide, the sub line has come down a little bit. I hit the plus 2,000 for a risk-free bet. So I'm excited to see what comes of that fight. But basically, I think Angelusa has a couple paths to win the fight. I think he can win with a submission if he gets after it. Like he did in the Jack Della fight where he had a good submission opportunity. I think it's also possible that he can get on top. He could ride out some minutes. He could use his powerful striking, opportunistic attacks to try and steal rounds here as well. So I like Angelusa as a pretty wide underdog. I like Caio Barajo in this spot as well. He's an underdog in the co-main event, and the price is shortening on him. So I think Bet365 has the best available market price at this point. One of the places you could take a look. But basically, I think that Godzi, he's got the appearance of a dominant Russian prospect. He's got the undefeated record, but you dig a little deeper, he's got some amateur fights where he's lost as recently as 2018. So, it's not really the perfect record that you'd imagine. And meanwhile, I cashed on both these guys on Contender Series, so I was familiar with their game. I liked both of what they had to offer, but I had already stored in the back of my mind, future fade opportunity on Godzi. I don't think he's really all that he's made out to be. Whereas Kai Barajo, he's continued to impress me. I bet him by knockout as well at the plus 400 tag in that Contender Series fight. He cashed that ticket for me. So I'm going to back my guy here as well, making his UFC debut. I think he's got dangerous grappling. I think he's got upside standing as well. I think he could win this fight by knockout. I also think that he could win this fight by submission. I think he could win it by decision. I would pick him outright as the winner here. So plus money by his name, had to take advantage, had to take a shot. So that was how I bet that fight as well. Kevin Croom here. I didn't love exactly the visuals that I saw from him. His face looked a little sucked out, but I must say, the height advantage, the reach advantage, they're significant. And this guy normally comes out in every fight like a bat out of hell. So I did play some Croom. I played some Croom inside the distance, and it could age poorly, making this drastic weight cut at his age. It might be tough, but he decided to do it. He fought pretty recently. I think the guy's been keeping in good shape. And I think that if he's able to keep some kind of durability, some kind of cardio for the 7.5 minutes, man, this guy's going to be hard to deal with. He comes out with a lot of firepower, throwing a lot of heat early. His defense is a little lax, but, you really don't see a ton of volume from the other side. And Alatang Haley, a lot of times throwing those predictable, heavy swings, and that might work out for him here. He might be able to ground Kevin Croom. He is a wrestler in his own right, but I think that his grappling is certainly an open question here. He's used to fighting at 125 and 135. Croom, on the other hand, has fought 35, 45, 55. So he's kind of been fighting these bigger dudes. I think dropping back to 35 could be a window of opportunity for Kevin Croom if it's not too late at his age. So I'm going to back him as a dog here at the big plus money figure and hope that he's still got something left. And he's going to be looking for submissions early. So that's what I'm hoping he's able to pull off. He shocked the world with Roosevelt Roberts once before, and maybe he could do it again in this spot. So Kevin Croom was another guy I looked at. I would tell you guys about Jesse Ronson, but to be honest with you, this line's been crushed. He's now out to a market favorite. I think it's a much more appropriate line. I think the market has been pretty efficient here in moving this number in the right direction. And now I would probably lay off the Ronson side at this point. I think it's closer to accurate. But I played Ronson here at the even money tag. I think that he's the more dangerous fighter of the two. I think he's going to come out throwing heavies. He's a southpaw. He likes to work. He likes to operate a little bit behind his strikes. I see my man Jam in. Says, let's go. Please refund me if Luque loses. Hey, bro, I'm guessing that means you got a big investment in Vicente Luque. I got to tell you, I'm on the same side. Don't have a huge investment in his money line here, but I'll tell you guys how I bet on the main event. So if you guys didn't read, I did have some analysis already. And I want you guys to check that out. If you haven't, I wrote it up for my friends at scoresandodds.com. I put a lot of work into those articles. However, if you guys just want the quick synopsis, I bet on the under 4.5 rounds here at -115. I believe that line is still available on BetMGM. And the reason I played that is because I think he's the more dangerous fighter in Vicente Luque, but I also think that cardio is just a minor concern here, as he's been able to hold on and pull out these late finishes in round 3, but he's huffing and puffing, and Vicente's my dude. I love this guy to death. He's one of my favorite fighters in the UFC. Could never bet against him. A lot of sharp guys I know are going the other way here, but I described him all week as the death dealer of 170 pounds. This guy is just a proven historic finisher in the welterweight division, 90% finishes at a very competitive weight class. Granted, not all of his opponents have been the toughest. Not all of them have been the most durable, but even when he fought the most durable and the tough guys, he's been able to put a lot of them on the ropes, been able to hit and hurt a lot of them. And, when you look at the way he approached the problem of, a Wonder Boy, he took it like he was trying to win a pride battle. He went out there and tried to swing with him because that's the kind of fighter he is. He's blood and guts. Mind you, that's the only time in 17 UFC fights that Vicente Luque was a outright underdog for a UFC bout. So this guy's been favored throughout his UFC run. Odds makers have been seeing that this guy's dangerous. That he poses problems to a lot of guys. You see Michael Chiesa gets after some grappling. He gets some success early. All of a sudden, tables turned and it's all over. I think Michael Chiesa had a little bit of a mental implosion there, but I also think it's a function of this guy, Vicente Luque, is dangerous in every position. If you stand on the feet too long with the guy, you could get badly hurt. You could get put out. You could get knocked out. That makes guys nervous. He can kick the legs out from underneath you. That's a problem. It's hard to deal with. I believe truly he has the best left hook in the business today. He is beautiful at throwing it. He catches people every time they're trying to step into range to jab to 1-2. He's the kind of guy who's willing to take this shot on the chin and throw back with something heavier. And it will cost him one day, but man, you just can't argue with the guy's fighting style. It's beautiful to watch. It's a lot of fun. And he is one of the most proven UFC finishers that we've seen in the last while. So I really like Vicente Luque. I hope he can get one more finish for the highlight reel. But if not, Belal Muhammad, you better turn on the Jets and you better turn it up on him in rounds 3 and 4. Cash me that under 4.5 rounds. That would be very nice. I also played the Vicente Luque inside the distance boosted prop on FanDuel. It's boosted up to +140. That's above market openers, which are about +130. So I thought that was worth a poke there. Did get involved for a small shot. Appreciate everybody who's hopping in. My man Tim says Luque inside the distance and sub. Capone says he was waiting to hear from me. Hey, I appreciate that. Appreciate that you guys take my opinion seriously. Just so you know, you can always find more information about what I have going on Twitter at LiamPicksFights. This week I had a big interview on my channel as well. My man Blake Perry is going to be fighting at Bellator next week. So if you guys haven't checked that out already, you should check that out. Blake's got a great story, but also, it's some insight into a fight that's coming up that not a lot of people are looking at. I don't even think odds have been released yet. So if you want to get more information, as I always say, information is key. And I think that that's a good way to get involved. So appreciate you guys for the support on that interview. A lot of people had positive things to say. Any feedback you guys have, I'm open to, and I appreciate it. Also want to shout out my man Capone says Vicente is a problem for everybody. I really believe he could be champ one day, young as well. I appreciate that sentiment. I agree. I think that he is a dangerous fighter for everyone in the division, but you also got to remember that this is a guy that, he does not really fight to win minutes. And Belal Muhammad, for everything you could say positive or negative, he goes out there with the intention to win fights, win decisions, and win minutes every time. So I get why people are looking to back him at this plus money tag, but Unfortunately, I think the death dealer is gonna get one more. I think Vicente is gonna find a way to get this guy. And my official prediction in my scores and odds article was the club and sub variety. I think that Belal's going to be shooting all night. I think he's going to be looking for takedowns here. And I think that what we've seen from Vicente is he has one of the more adept front headlock games in the UFC, in the welterweight division, certainly. The guy's nasty, and he's going to put a choke on people that they normally can't get out of. Tyron Woodley, I don't know that he'd ever been submitted before in MMA, and granted, he was hurt badly there, but he was not getting out of that choke. That was brutal, and he was stuck in there. So I think that Vicente, he's got multiple ways to finish the fight, and I think that he's probably going to find one of them over the course of the 25 minutes. But I'm not counting out Belal. I didn't get involved heavily on the money line side. If I had to have a bias in this fight, it's obviously towards my man Vicente. Is one of my favorite fighters. So acknowledging that bias up front. And last couple plays here, I kind of think there's some women that are live to finish. I got to be honest with you guys. Been on a little bit of a rough run with this angle. I've been looking at some of these fights where I think, maybe there's a inside the distance play on one of the ladies' fights that's, a little bit value oriented. And, I've gone down swinging on a couple of those. So the adjustment I've made, I didn't bet it quite as heavily as I have in the past. On some of these opportunities, but I did get involved on some Kianzad inside the distance. The first time they fought, she was able to finish her inside the distance. Kianzad started doing MMA at a younger age. She's continued to do it for just as long. She hasn't taken these huge breaks away from the game like we've seen on the other side from Landsberg. And so I think that Kianzad has a path to finish. I bet Kianzad in her last fight as well. I thought that she had, an honest fight there with Raquel, could have won it. Thought it was a close competitive decision. So I wasn't angry at my bet there. I think I bet half a unit on the money line at plus money. So now, she's out to being a significant favorite. I bet at the plus 350 distinction, the inside the distance here for Pani Kianzad. And then I also looked at the plus 300 on FanDuel for Mayra Buena Silva to win the fight by submission. She's a girl that I kind of rate on the ground. I think that her armbar series is pretty solid. I also think that, if she gets on top, she's got a pretty imposing top game. I think her guard is live in this fight. So for all those reasons, I think the sub is a potential opportunity. I think the back take could be there as well. I think the club and sub is a live outcome. Mayra Buena Silva commits to her strikes. There's not as many women that are landing, shots that could knock girls down, hurt them, rock them, send them backwards, create bloody moments. And she's one of them. So I'm going to be on the Mayra Buena Silva side, not on the money line perspective. If you guys saw my Twitter thread today, that I said it was a gross price on the money line. Land the minus 5 on on women's MMA is not something I'm looking to do very often. But there's some critical factors here that I'm considering. There's some age gaps in the Landsberg Kianzad fight. So I think that there's some interesting looks here. Now, I'm going to wrap this up really quick here, guys. What I'm going to do is turn to the chat. Any questions you guys have, rapid fire. I'm going to try and make this a 15-minute live stream. We're at 13 minutes right now. We got 23 people rocking live with us. Appreciate each and every one of you. So any questions you guys have, I'm going to try and rifle through them real quick here. First of all, is it the small cage? Yes, I believe we're at the UFC Apex tonight. I bet Luque small cage is the only thing that concerns me. I understand that. But it's also going to mean that when Vicente is trying to pressure and get after him in the striking, it's going to give him some opportunities. And I know he's a counter striker, but he likes to get after people a little bit, get some movement going, step towards them, make them engage a little bit in the pocket, force them to throw, and then he has his counter opportunities. So I think that that's what we might see. But Belal's definitely going to be spamming them takedown attempts. So it should be an interesting fight here in the small cage. Tim Troiano says, boom, same picks. Let's effing go. We cash or die together. I always prefer it that way, Tim. We'll go down swinging as a unit. My brother for life. I love to hear it. Charlie says, quick question. What are your picks throughout the whole card? Oh, my goodness. I will try to rifle through them real quick here. Picks, not bets. Vicente Luque, Kai Barajo, Miguel Baeza, Marlo Buena Silva, Pat Sabatini, Angelusa, Devin Clark, Pani Kianzad, Drakkar Close, feel disgusting about that one. Jesse Ronson, Martin Budai, feel disgusting about that one. If Barnett wins by knockout, I'm going to feel sick to my stomach because I felt like I should have played that earlier this week. Levitt by sub after losing every minute of the fight. Estela Nunes by decision. Don't feel great about it. Kevin Croom inside the distance. Don't feel great about it. I did bet it though. So that's the thing. It's like, I think that that's certainly like a sketchy fight. I would have backed, Alatang if he was at the plus money distinction here, probably. But I'm looking for the plus money shot here. I think it's a really competitive fight. Could see either guy winning it in that spot. Somebody says, what's my favorite pick of the day? Man, I don't really have those. I do have a couple that are my bigger bets. Angelusa, Kai Barajo. Those are my bigger bets here for the day. My man Baldy Man says, good luck on your bets today. Good guys versus the bookies. You know the vibe, brother. That's always the way. We're just trying to get these good guys one more great opportunity to win. And that's always what I'm looking to do here for you guys, for myself. And against these bookies, I've never met a bookie with a part-time job, right? So we're all out here working, trying to scrap, trying to get these dollars. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with getting one over on a bookie. So let's do it. Let's get another one this week. They hung some prices that I think are exploitable. So hopeful that I can win here. Hopeful that you guys can win here. Hopeful that you guys had some great information all week. Stay tuned. Follow me on Twitter at LiamPicksFights. Follow me on Instagram at LiamPicksFights. Get at me everywhere. And I appreciate the support. If you guys haven't already, get subscribed to my channel. Go ahead and like this video. I really appreciate when you guys show that support, show the love for the show. Go ahead and drop a comment below this. Let me know what's your favorite bet of the night. I will come back with receipts on the next show if you drop something that hits. So appreciate you guys big time. Thank you all. Come back next week. We're going to have all the same fun again. This has been another great episode of Liam Picks Fights. Capiche. Happy Easter to each and every one of you. Capone the GOAT. Great point on the way out. God bless you all. Enjoy those fights. We're going to do it all again. Take care, everybody.